Welcome back to the Aftermatch with Kirsten Beav. Come for the rugby, stay for the Aftermatch. Part 2 this week because, Beaver, there is a game going on in France. Start de France this weekend. Sia Kolisi's 100th match for the Boks. Rematch of that Rugby World Cup quarterfinal, which you've already said, controversial. And people are saying, controversial? How is it controversial, people? This is as big as it gets, Beav. They're saying this is the biggest test all year. Would you agree?
It's hard to disagree. I mean, and now that we've moved past Eden Park, All Blacks versus South Africa, I think we can now say that this is now the biggest test. It's two of the top three in my opinion. I know you mentioned Ireland was third and they were about to jump us if they had beat us in the weekend. These are two of the top three. I do put All Blacks in there, obviously, as well, but two of the top three. And I like the way you mentioned the word controversy because I remember I was at that quarterfinal. I barely remember it because, admittedly, I'd float on from a pretty big night and kept flowing.
Isn't that the week you lost your phone?
It was the infamous week where I lost my phone and ended up all over Paris trying to find it. And
the show.
And it was the weekend. It was the weekend that the great Jerome Kano had to sponsor me, and I still owe him a bit of money there. But look, there was controversy because by all accounts the French I don't think they believed that they were going to exit the World Cup that week. And therefore, when they did, it turned on the referee. From my recollection, I didn't think there was anything major that the officiating did. But look,
was it our Kiwi in charge?
Ben O'Keefe, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But
I think it was.
But when you look at the magnitude of this game, Kirst, Paris will be absolutely frothing this one. Stade de France, that place will be shaking with excitement and noise as we were lucky enough to experience during the World Cup. I can't wait for it. Yeah, it's the biggest, most exciting game for me outside of an All Black game, that's for sure. Watching this one will be special.
Mind games being played already. You know, Rasi usually names his team earlier in the week, except for the big games. Didn't against the All Blacks 1 week, and he's not this time around either. He's waiting until the last minute, so the Thursday before game day. But we're going to see changes to what they rolled out against Japan. Cheslin Kolbe, the great fullback, moves back to the wing. Willemson is available. Sia Kolisi, Beav. Sia Kolisi. If you think he had a big performance in Wellington, how's he going to go at Paris?
Yeah, in his 100th. And what a marvel he has been. I guess he's more than a rugby player in South Africa. I know we've all watched The Rising Sun, and Rusty said Sia Kolisi is not bigger than South Africa. South Africa is bigger than Sia Kolisi. That's a famous line from one of his speeches there. But I do believe he's something else in South Africa, like as a symbol, as a man, as someone who's united that country and the Springboks. He's pretty special. And for him to play his 100th in such a big game, you know, some of these things are almost timed when they look into the future and go, right, when would this have the biggest impact? And I think it can't get much bigger than this. The funny thing about these two teams, Kirst, for me, is they're not too dissimilar. They're going to have monster forward packs. They're going to try and bash out front into smithereens. And if they get a bit of momentum and go forward, then they've got the ability to use these brilliant backs. Yes, the French are probably a little bit more unpredictable, but with Sasha pulling the shots, with Cheslin Kolbe, with Willemson and the likes, they've got the unpredictability about them too now, South Africa. But it is, I tell you what, you wouldn't want to be stuck in between these two forward packs. That will be something else.
You talked about Rising Sun or whatever. I think it's Chasing the Sun.
Oh, it's Chasing the Sun. Sorry, it's the Japanese coming out of me. The Rising Sun.
The French coach actually made the French side sit down and watch Chasing the Sun so they could get some insights into what sort of motivation levels these guys will have.
That's weird. That's a weird one for me. But look, the French, they never play it straight. They always play a few shots in a bit funky. So that's a weird one for me, Kirst. But look, whatever you got to do to get your boys triggered, maybe it's just trying to add some motivation. Maybe it's trying to remind them that they beat you in the quarterfinal of your home World Cup and that should still hurt. Maybe that's the path he's going down.
Yeah, there's a few big names out with injuries. So I think about 6 starters won't be playing in this one. Beav, Dupont, obviously the biggest of the names. But if Intermax there, Like, there's going to be some incredible head-to-heads, isn't there?
Oh, and we saw it at the World Cup, and then we saw down in New Zealand at the start of the year, the halfbacks. France have always had a plethora, Kirst, of halfbacks. No one's going to be DuPont, and no one's going to have that talismanic sort of feel to him where he's going to bring the crowd, the team, and every nation with him. But they've got some great nines still tucked in behind them. So apart from the DuPont factor, it's not going to affect their game as much. I see Romas is out too. He's another one of the really, really good footballers, but they got some depth. What are you laughing at?
It's not Romas. It's Ramos.
Yeah, look, when you're live in Stade de France and they call his name.
Are you going to blame your Japanese again?
I'm going to blame this internet line here. Yeah. Is it an O, not an A? Or is it an A, not an O?
Ramos.
Thomas
Ramos.
I tell you what, I'll get distracted here, but the greatest thing going to a big fixture in France is when they read the French national team out and the crowd, they say the surname. It is something.
It's great.
It's a highlight. So all you South Africans going to Paris this weekend, look forward to that.
So how does that game actually play out, Beav? Since you said like both teams are actually quite similar, what does the French do to win, and what does South Africa do to win?
Well, I think the formula is pretty similar for both. They've got to get their set piece, and whoever can find any vulnerability in the opposition set piece, I think will go a long way. I think the Springboks have shown that they can play all different styles of football. But in the end, I think keeping 15 on the field is going to be pretty important, Kirst. And if there's two teams, sorry, my local cat here is just meow.
Pussycat.
Yeah, ironically,
he's hungry.
Ironically, that's his name too. Pussy.
Give him his biscuits.
I'll get the housemaid to sort that out. The two teams, it's tough to split them, Kirst. It really is. And I wonder if the fact that Sasha and the trajectory he's going on, he might just be the difference. I really do. I wonder if the South African backs, dare I say it, although the French backs have got some quality about them too, I just wonder if there's a little bit more there. And that platform, it's funny to say, I almost wonder if the South Africans want a slightly higher tempo game. And, this is so funny to think where South Africa's come from and what we always sort of mentally think about the South Africans, where the All Blacks, you got to try and run them off you got to try and run the box off their feet. I wonder if the box are looking at the French and going, let's take them to some place, because traditionally the French top 14, it's a slower league. You look at some of their big men, and the French big men are very much built for set piece. And they want to get to set piece, and then they want to go to work. Where if you look at the Springboks boys these days, when you think about their locking department, when you think about those props, a lot of them are very good around the park now. So I almost think, it's so funny to sort of say the words. I think South Africa might want to try and play at a tempo that France might struggle with. But that's nice in theory. The reality is it could just be an absolute slugfest between two monster packs, territory, and kicking points.
Either way, it's going to be must watch. Actually, it's a really nice time in New Zealand as well, around just after 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. But I know we've got quite a few South Africans following us. Do we have many French supporters following us? Let us know in the comments. But if you are South African, what was the bigger game for the Boks this year, do you think? Was it that 100th Test match at Eden Park? And let's talking before the result. For the Boks supporters, was it the 100th against the All Blacks at Eden Park, or was it this match coming up, the rematch of the quarterfinal? What was the bigger match for South African fans? Is this the biggest test of the year?
It's always the next one.
That's what I want to know.
It's always the next one, Kirst. Whatever's the next one's always the biggest.
Because we know the result, because they didn't win at Eden Park.
While we're talking to all our South African friends, I haven't been able to get back to you all, but I do appreciate all the tourism offers that me and you have now got, Kirst. You are going shark diving if we make it to South Africa next year.
No.
I have been inundated in the private messages, the DMs, I think you youngsters call them, with people saying, my cousin's got this place, he's going to host you here, I've got a good spot here for you. We are absolutely got a full itinerary if we can get our way over to the Republic next year, Kirst.
Oh, well, we're going, and we're going to Joe Cool's on the way. But
No, Joe Coles is shut.
Please do.
I'll take you to Caprice.
Keep sending those DMs to Beav, good, bad, or the ugly as well. And he will keep reading them. Whether he replies or not, that's a different story. That is the Aftermatch with Kirsten Beav. Like, subscribe, comment, get involved in the conversation. We love having you part of the show. So thank you so much to each and every one of you who listen. And Beav, we're almost at that 10,000 subscriber mark. So once again, a massive thank you. Share it with all your friends. Get us to 10,000 by the end of the year. We've got 3 weeks, people. That's the challenge. You're part of it now.
Absolutely. And a shout out to my great former teammate, Michael Leach, who VSA got a hiding against South Africa, but I just saw a picture on social media that he was the defensive player of the year, of the week. And with that, he got to wear what would have appeared to be a toy fire truck helmet in the change room, and a picture taken on the Japanese rugby Instagram page. So well done, Leachy. You looked absolutely sensational in your Defensive Player of the Year award.
There you go. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll be back later in the week.